Hello, so this is our first section starting our interest idea. So simple interest is the first kind of interest we're going to look at. And first of all, what is interest? Interest is the amount we get for lending money, or it's our amount we have to pay for borrowing money, right? So interest, we pay it or we get it, one or the other. And when we're doing this, the principal amount is kind of what we start with, what we borrow, that initial amount. Our rate is our percent. We always have to move that decimal 2 places for our rate. And the way simple works is the interest, this is like interest here, maybe make that an I. Its interest is equal to P or PERT, right? P times R times T. So if you take your amount of money times your rate times your time, T is time, that will give you your interest. How much interest you owe or you pay. Owe or pay is the same thing. You either get or you pay. Now, simple interest is so easy to calculate, but guess how many of your accounts have simple interest? Almost none. So it is something we need to know how to do, but really it isn't as common as we hope because the next section will be more common. So look at this first problem. You deposit $2,000 into a savings account at Hometown Bank, which has a rate of 6%. Find the interest at the end of the first year. So another thing is time is almost always in years. Almost always. It really is in years. For banking reasons, it's in years. So we deposited 2,000, so we know our interest is equal to P times R times T. And so our interest will equal our 2,000 is our starting amount. And what's our interest rate? 6%. Move your decimal 2 places so that you get 0.06% times our time. How many years? 1 year. If I would have said 1 month, you would have had to do 1/12 because that's 1/12 of a year. Okay, so times this together. 2,000 times 0.06 times 1, I get $120. So the interest at the end of the year is $120. Example 2, a student took out a simple interest loan for $1,800 for 2 years at the rate of 8% to purchase a used car. Find the interest on the loan. So again, the interest is equal to P times R times T. So our interest is going to equal, how much money did we borrow? $1,800, that's our starting amount. Our rate is 8%, so 0.08, move it 2 places. And how many years? 2. Okay, so we get out our calculator, 1,800 times 0.08 times 2. I get $288. So our interest, or what we pay back, is $288. Okay, as we start to get more and more in the interest, your calculator might start to be an issue. And it's only because a lot of people use their phone and it can get tricky. So I like the graphing just because the screen's so big, but I would make sure you have a scientific calculator where you can see a little more of what you're typing in. You'll thank me for it later. Borrow one from a friend, get one for $5 at Walmart, do what you need to do. You can rent them from the school library as well, a graphing calculator for just this chapter. The graphing are just nice. We're not graphing because you can see everything you type in. Okay. Now, future value. What does future value mean? It means what am I going to owe or have at the end of this loan period? So it is including our interest. So we have a little bit different formula for future value. This is our formula right here. And there's two ways we can think of this. Basically, it is your original amount plus your interest. So if I put money in my account and I'm getting simple interest back, what is my future value? Well, it's going to be the money I put in plus my interest. So you could think of this as principal plus PERT. That might be helpful for you. They write it this way only because of the next formula. I don't really care which one you use. These are the same thing. See if I times this P through the parenthesis, guess what I get? This. So either way is totally fine. So let's do an example with this future value formula. A loan of $1,060 has been made at 6.5% for 3 months. Find the loan's future value. Okay, so we have our A equals our P, that's our $1,060, right? Plus our $1,060 times our rate. Move your decimal 2 places, right? So it's 0.065 times, okay, we said time is always in years. So if I have 3 months, it's 3/12 because this is in years. All right, let's put that in our calculator, just like we see it. It's scientific. It'll do it the right order for you. 1060 plus 1060 again times 0.065 times 3 divided by 12 is 3/12. I get $1,077, and I'm going to round it to the nearest cent, and 23 cents. Let's do the other formula. So we'd have our 1,061 plus our rate of 0.065 times our 3/12 for our time. Okay, so this time I've just got to type it in a little different. So here's my first type, right? So this time I'm going to do 1060 parenthesis 1 plus 0.065 times 3 divided by 12, 3/12, and the parenthesis, and get the same amount. How much money did I make in interest in 3 months? $17.23. Not very much, because we started with $1,060, but that's only in 3 months. Okay, I guess we owe that loan. We're gonna have to pay that much money. Okay, you borrow $2,500 from a friend, and you promise to pay back $2,655 in 6 months. What was your rate? So we're finding something else. So we have to think, okay, at the end, our future value was $2,655. Okay, and we started with $2,500. Ooh, what formula do we want to use? I think I'll just do plus 2,500 times P, we don't know the rate, times time. Oh, 6 months. So 1/2 a year or 6/12, right? So I can use 1/2 because I know 6/12 is 1/2. I know upstairs on the last problem I could have done 1/4 as well. Okay, so let's solve this. So whatever we add or subtract, we have to subtract over first. So 2,655 minus 2,500 is 155. Sorry, I'm chewing a cough drop. I've been sick like every time I've made all your videos. Oh, wow. Okay, then we have 25 times R times 1/2. Now this is all being times together. So I can simplify 2,500 and 1/2. So 2,500 times 1/2, or cut it in half, is 1,200. So we're here, 1,250, excuse me, times R. because half of a 2,500 is 8,250. Now we can divide and get that rate. So divide, yes, it's a bigger number divided on the bottom. It better be, because that's how we get a rate, which is a decimal before we make it a percent. So 155 divided by 1250, I get 0.124 equals R. What percent is that? 12.4%. Move your decimal 2 places. So if I pay my friend back that much money in 6 months, I've actually paid her 12.4%. Okay, problem 5. You plan to save $2,000 for a trip to Europe in 2 years. You decide to purchase a certificate of deposit, CD. This is where you put money in a bank and you leave it there for usually a year, 8 months, 6 months, something like that. And it does give simple interest. So CD is one of the only things that has interest that I can think of that is simple. And the bank pays 4%. How much must you put in that CD now in order to have your $2,000 in 2 years? So we know our future amount. We want $2,000 in the future. We don't know how much to start with. So P plus P, we don't know, times our rate of 4% times 2 years, right? 2 years. So we can simplify this a little. 2 times 0.04. 2 times 0.04 is 0.08. So I have P plus 0.08P equals 2,000. Okay, what is 1P plus 0.08? You would have to be 1.08 P's equals 2,000. And really, didn't we want 1 whole plus 0.08? Yeah, we want 1 whole plus 0.08. That's where 1.08 comes in. So 2,000 divided by 1.08 is, let's show that real quick so everyone has that in their notes. And I get $1,851.85. You better make it 86 cents to make sure you get there, right? So that is going to be our total principal that we have to put in now in order to have 2,000. You don't really make that much money in interest. You really don't. And as you see these problems, you'll be like, wow, it's really important to come up with a lot more money now than it is to think that this little bit of money will become a big amount of money, because it doesn't. All right, I think that was my last problem. All right, that was all for simple interest. The next section will take a little longer. So hopefully this section is pretty quick on your homework. Talk to you later.